I am 39 today. Wow, what a journey it has been. From dropping out of school 3 times, after growing up in the trenches, as they call it, in Lagos, Nigeria, spending 5 months in psychiatric hospital, memory loss, depression, feeling like ending it all. I feel it is important for me to share some of the things I have learned on the way. It's been up and down. I've been to quite a few places around the world. I've read a lot of books, autobiographies, different kind of things. We will help young people that are coming up, that are trying to make sense of it all. Some of them I learned very early. Some of them I learned too late. But if I give it to you and you are able to make use of it, we can all make the world a better place. Let's go on this journey.
Not all success is due to hard work, and not all failure is due to laziness. Remember that when you judge yourself or when you judge anyone. I got that quote from Morgan Housel's Psychology of Money, and I think it is very important you look at that when you are judging things. It's okay because social media brings everything close to our faces, and we are using other people's highlights to judge, our own lives. Always remember that half of the world live on less than $4,000 a year. $4,000 a year. So always remember that things are not as bad as you think they are. Take your time, build yourself gradually, and hopefully you will get there. You have to be very, very, very patient with yourself on this journey. What better place to start talking about money than the front of the Bank of England? And that brings me to a quote by Albert Einstein, where he talks about what we call compound interest. He said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. It is very, very important we understand what can happen if we put a small section of money of our earnings away, invested over a long time. The best people in the world are, in terms of finance, are people that invest money over a long time. Spend less than you earn and make sure a fraction of your earnings is going to somewhere invested for you over a long time. Warren Buffett has this other quote that said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you are going to work till you die. So this is a very, very important tool for us that are young. We started working, we started earning money. The goal is to be rich, not to look rich. Live below your income and make sure whatever balance is left is invested somewhere over a long time. When we were in secondary school, we did quadratic equations, and one of the ways of solving quadratic equation is a formula called the almighty formula, minus b plus or minus da 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 da. But I think one of the most important equations that you must understand that I think should be the almighty formula is actually in accounting, where they said assets minus liability is equal to equity. That I think is the almighty formula. You must understand what an asset is. You must understand what is liability, and you must understand equity. Assets, by definition, are anything that puts money in your pocket. Liabilities, by definition, are something that takes money away from your pocket. What is asset? Real estate, stocks, bonds, gold. Crypto is an asset, but it's extremely volatile. You must understand assets. It is a very, very important part of your life. Do not joke with your financial education. The ability to speak effectively is a requirement, not a gift. And I think this is very, very important. You cannot be poor and timid. It is definitely not allowed. It took me a long time to understand this, and I think I really, really regret it. But if you are coming up, whatever you can do to make sure you look after your public speaking skills, it is very, very important. Write, speak, and do everything possible to polish your skills. It is very hard at the beginning. You will be scared, but it is one of those things where the only way you can get better is to speak. Very, very important, because if you are not able to share your ideas with people, if you are not able to consistently tell people what you can do, you are selling yourself short. It is all about people. It is people that will introduce you to people that will change your life. The money in the world today is already in some people's hands. To get that money, you have to be able to present yourself, you have to be able to articulate your points and present them very, very well. So the ability to speak is a requirement.
Be genuinely curious. Be genuinely curious. Question everything. Question everything. Mark Twain said something. He said, "It is not what you know that gets you into trouble, but what you know that is not so that will get you into trouble." There are so many beliefs that has been passed down to us that the reasons behind those beliefs are no longer working. But if you don't question it, you will continue to walk in that belief, and that belief will shape your action, and that action will shape your result. So you have to be genuinely curious. There was a story about a woman that was cutting yam on both sides before cooking it. I think she was cutting something on both sides before cooking it. When the husband asked, the wife said it was the way her mother cut it. Then they called the mother. The mother said it was the way her mother cut it. And good, so good, the grandmother was still alive, and they called the grandmother. And the grandmother said she was only cutting it because her pot was too small. So everybody has been following that thing, not knowing the reason behind it. So be genuinely curious and ask questions, because there is a lot of propaganda going on. There is a lot of agenda going on. So if you are that person that doesn't delve into research, that just takes everything for face value, you don't ask the right, you don't ask the left, you just jump with what you are told, you will get into serious trouble. Be genuinely very curious. Someone told me that very special thing, which I can never forget. As long as you are still here, nobody can count you out. Not even yourself. You can't count yourself out. I didn't have a place to stay. I was couch surfing for several years. I didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow. I was depressed, I had memory loss, I had so many things going bad. I couldn't see the light in the next day. But what I decided to do was to live one day at a time. Meet people. I dressed up. I showed up. I met people. And one thing led to another. So you might be looking at life now and be thinking, what is going to happen to me? I cannot see the next step. I cannot see that wall that I want to build. But it is very important just to take the next step. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step. Just dress up and show up. As long as you are still alive, I can assure you there is a plan for you. So many people are buried 6 feet under the ground now that they wish they have what you have, which is the chance to be alive. So please, let us not waste that chance. It might look dark now, but I'm telling you this, I have seen it work in my life. I lost hope totally, but life surprised me. As long as you are still alive, nobody can count you out. Not even you. They can laugh you, they can mock you, they can do anything. Forget about all of that. Take your mind away from it. When life gets better, they will say something different entirely. Remember Mandela, remember Obasanjo, they were in prison for years. And a lot of people gave up on them, but they became presidents. Think about that. Those are samples that God is showing you. All the prophets as well. There are a lot of samples in the Quran and the Bible. Don't forget that. As long as you are still alive, nobody can count you out.
You can lie to everyone else. You can tell everyone else different stories, but do not lie to yourself. That will be a great disaster. When we were young, we had one person that used to go around telling people that he was in school, that he was in university, and he needed some money, and people were supporting him. He kept on telling that lie for so long. And after 4 years, people were asking, are you in university, or what exactly is happening? Because that lie cannot go on for so long. So it's very important. You can make up things for everybody, but you yourself know what you are doing on the inside. If everybody is fasting and you are eating on the inside and you are cleaning your mouth, you will suffer for it in the end. So you can lie to everybody, but do not lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself. That is very, very important. If you are working hard, you know. If you are that person that when you see your boss, you start to looking busy, you know yourself. The way you do other people's stuff is the way you do your own stuff. So do not lie to yourself. Do not play with yourself. Be honest with yourself and just tell yourself the truth. Know what you have to do to get to where you want to be. You can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to yourself.
You will see some people, they don't have a lot of money, but they know how to stay around happy people and they know how to manage themselves. And you will see them and you think, wow, this person must have so much. But when you move close to them, you see that they are only contented with the little that they have. If you are not contented, you'll be angry. Please be contented. And it is not the absence of ambition. You can still grow as far as you want to be. But we must start small and be contented with what you have. You also see some people that are extremely rich, but they are always miserable because they are not contented with what they have. They want more and more and more and more. They are always comparing. They are always comparing themselves. And that goes to that important quote by Benjamin Franklin, where he says, contentment makes poor people look rich and it makes rich people look very, very poor.
Always think long term. Don't worry about what is happening in the present. What is happening in the present might not be the best as you like it, but always think long term. Naval has this quote where he says, play long-term games with long-term people. It is the long term that matters because you can't really control what is happening now, but you can have a very, very big impact of what is happening in the long term by controlling your time, by controlling what you do now. There was a time when I dropped out of school and I had one of the clothes we were wearing in the hostel was this brown trouser. We were wearing brown top and one brown trouser. And that was the only trouser that I wore for so long a time. And someone came to meet me and asked me if I was a student of Morkaz, because Morkaz used to wear that brown trouser. And he came to ask me and I was like, because that was the only trouser that I had. So if you have one shirt or one trouser and you are still able to wash it, you are able to clean it, don't worry about what's happening in the present. It is what you are doing now that will determine what will happen in the future. Don't be a short-term thinker. Some people will make decisions based on short-term enjoyment. Delay gratification is the key for you. Always think long-term because long-term is the most important. Do your best. Don't think short-term, think long-term.
It is better to prepare for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. The world is a very, very complex place. When opportunity comes, it is important for that opportunity to meet you very, very prepared. So, whatever age you are, the world expects you to have a particular kind of knowledge. You may not get it, you may not be there yet, but you must be working towards it. Because when opportunity comes, people will come to you and say, we have this opportunity, do you have a degree? If you don't have a degree yet, that opportunity will skip you by. So if you don't have a degree, but you must be trying to work towards it, because there are some opportunities that just require some certain things. There are some skills that you must have. People can come to you and say, we want to do this, but if you don't have the prerequisite skill to chase those opportunities, that opportunity will pass you by. It is better to prepare for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. There was a time I got a gig and someone said I should do invoice. I didn't even have invoice template as at that time. And it was like, you want to do this business, you want to go find the business, where is your invoice? What is your rate? Someone asked me, what are you charging? And I said, I'll have to call you back because I have not decided my rate. I've not yet put that down to say, this is what I want to do. If you want to do a business, where is your marketing plan? Where is this? Because when somebody stops you on your way, where's your ID card? Where is your LinkedIn profile? Where is all of this? When somebody stops you and say, oh, let me connect with you on LinkedIn, and say, I'm not on LinkedIn. Let me get this. Where's your card? I don't have my card. What is this? I don't have. The person will say, are you actually serious about this business? So it is better to prepare for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. The famous author, Paulo Coelho, said, only one thing can make a dream impossible to achieve, and that is the fear of failure. If you are trying to achieve something new, it is normal to fail. And I think our society demonizes failure a lot. When somebody fails, it looks like everybody takes drums and starts celebrating. But failure is an integral part of success. And Steve Jobs has something that he added onto that. He said, if you are scared to fail, you won't get very, very far. Because failure is an integral part of success. And for people of our background, you can be wondering, what will happen if I fail? And this is why I always recommend what Jeff Bezos calls the regret minimization technique. What is the worst thing that can happen if you do this thing? What is the worst thing? If you are able to find a solution to the worst thing that can happen, or if the worst thing that can happen is not going to kill you, it is just going to be like, oh, maybe you lose a small fraction of money, and the worst thing that can happen, you are able to cover it up. And you look at the upside, and the upside is massive. Go for it. Go for it. Behind fear is that thing that you are looking to achieve. If you are scared to fail, you won't get very, very far.
When you are young, and you are still very young, without the commitment of children or raising family, it is a massive time for you to take advantage and get a lot of work done and invest heavily in your skills. Those times when you are still in your parents' place, when you are still eating their food, enjoying in their house, it is a massive time for you to put in as much work as possible into your own development, into your business. That is the time you want to fail. You want to put your effort into so many things and fail as many times as possible, because you don't have the commitment of having to look after family when children come, that time is very, very critical. I want you to take a serious advantage of it, because when you start having kids, it is a little bit more difficult, and this is not a discrimination to people that have kids. It's just for you to understand that when you have kids, you cannot compare yourself with solo entrepreneur. You still have to go at your own pace, because you can't take a lot of risk then, because you've got rent to pay, you've got bills on your neck, you've got so many things you have to do. So before the children come, that 10,000 hours that makes you extremely skillful, you want to get that under your belt. All the basic foundational knowledge, you want to get that under your belt. Because by the time you have kids, you need to spend quality time with your family, you need to do so many things around them. So it is a little bit tricky by the time when you get there. But before that, I want you to go all in. Get as much education as possible, get as much knowledge as possible, get as much skills as possible. And then you will see that by the time family sets in and everything sets in, you'll be growing at a gradual and very, very good pace, because you've done a big chunk of the work far behind you.
On my left there is the tallest building in United Kingdom, the Shard. But the most important part of that building is the bit that you don't see, which is the foundation. If the foundation is not good enough, the Shard cannot go that tall. And that gives us a very, very important point. If you look after the root, you don't need to worry about the fruit. Nurture the root and the fruit will look after itself. What you do when nobody is watching, you get rewarded outside for what you do on the inside. You get rewarded outside for what you do on the inside. What you do when nobody is watching is a far determinant of your future than anything else. What are you doing when nobody is watching? Very, very important. Take note of that. Build a foundation of skills, build a foundation of knowledge, build a foundation of curiosity. We are time millionaires. Some of us are time billionaires. What are we spending that time on? Don't forget, please. Very, very important. At the end of the day, it is all about service. There's this quote that goes by, the greatest among you will be your servant. The more people you can serve, the better for you. Zig Ziglar has another perfect quote where he talks about, if you can help enough people get what they want, you will also get what you want. If you are serving one person, it's one income. If you are serving two people, that's two income coming in. Try and see how you can help other people solve their problems. Most of the people that have made the most wealth in history are people that have tried to help other people solve problems. As a young person, look around you. What can you help someone to do? If it means helping them to wash a car, that is a means of income for you. If it means helping them to run an errand, that is a means of income for you. If you can help more people do it, look at what software has done. Software has made it possible to build something, and millions of people can use software. Look at Candy Crush, look at WhatsApp. When they sold WhatsApp, there were just a few people, running the whole of WhatsApp, and it was sold to Facebook for $19 billion. So try and see how you can help people, whether at a small scale or at a big scale, because the greatest among you will be your servant. It is all about service.
Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. You are not starting at the same level as so many people. You are starting from where you are starting. We don't have a very even starting lineup in life. So when you are struggling at the beginning, and as you are aiming high, you are trying to achieve something good, please be patient with yourself. And make sure the people around you are also patient with you as well. People that have a long-term focus, not a short-term thinking. That is very critical. Great things in life can happen if we are very, very patient with ourselves. And being patient means that we are looking at the long term and we are not looking at the short term. We are thinking way ahead. Anything nice, anything good takes a lot of time to build. So at the beginning of your career, when you are starting to do things, try and be extra patient with yourself. You may not have the money you want. You may not have the good things you want. You might just be eating 1 or 2 meals a day. It doesn't matter where you start from. It is where you are going that matters. So anyone that doesn't want to be patient with you, let them go. Let them leave. You will always find your people. People that will believe in your potentials rather than your limitations. They will support you, they will guide you, and they will help you get to where you want to be. Please be patient. Patience is key in this game, particularly as we are starting from a very disadvantaged background. We have to be patient. If we are not patient, we will rush things. And if we rush things, it doesn't come out very well. Ask the baker, they will tell you. Ask the chef, they will tell you. I got that quote from a very wise old man. Be patient. It will serve you in the long run. Technology has made it possible for all of us to interact in a very small space. But we also have to be very, very careful, because in today's world, so many of us are spending too much time on social media. We have to understand that these companies are investing billions of dollars to make sure that we are always on the app for as long as possible. When they asked one of the top people at Netflix, I think it was Reed Hastings, when they asked him, what is Netflix competitor? He said, sleep is Netflix competitor. So you have to be very, very careful and make sure that you do not lose focus. You do not get too distracted. You create time for meaningful work and you get the work done. If you are not careful, distraction will derail you and you will not be able to do meaningful work. Your focus is the new oil. Your attention is the new oil. Pay attention to things that matter. And Jim Rohn has one of my favorite quotes of all time. He said, do not spend major time on minor things. When you spend too much time on this app, they give you that dopamine rush, that dopamine hit, and you are not able to get any work done. And when you leave the app, you feel like, wow, I've just spent so much time, and you feel really, really bad about yourself. Try as much as possible to create time for meaningful work, and don't let distraction take away these goals that you have from you. Your reputation is very, very critical to your success. Guard it with everything that you have. Warren Buffett has a famous quote where he said, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and it takes 5 minutes to ruin it. They used to say, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. But there's one aspect of it that they don't say. What do they know you as? What do they say about you when you are not there? Your reputation is very, very important. I've been in board meetings, I've been in team meetings where people are saying, don't put that guy on this project, he cannot handle it. Don't put this guy here, he can't do it. Don't do this to this person because they don't see them as good enough for that role. What people say about you when you are not there is very, very important. And how do you enhance your reputation? By putting in your best work, by being visible. Guard your reputation with everything that you have because the future of your business depends on it. Reputation, very, very important. Let's not forget that. Rejections. Rejections are very normal in this game. If you are scared of rejection, you will not even make a start. Let me tell you, if you are coming from the background that we came from or a worse background than we came from, prepare your mind for rejection. It is normal. It is like water. You will get so many of it. But the good thing is that the no's do not count. It is only 1 yes that can change the dynamic of everything. I tell the story a lot. I applied to study abroad and I was rejected 7 times, and it did not stop me. And why did it not stop me? Because when I look at the downside then, I really had nothing to lose. And when I look at the upside, it could be massive. And I've seen that a lot as well with job applications and every other thing else you want to do. You want to meet a partner, you are talking to nice people. Rejections are normal in this game. If you are scared of rejection, you will not make significant progress. Please go out and seek rejection. That is how some people have even put it. Seek rejection. Someone said, go out and seek that rejection. Because while you are seeking rejection, you will get feedback. You get the feedback that you will use to better yourself. You will even get to know some things that you don't know about yourself. Go out and get rejected. Rejections are normal in this game. Like I said, the no's do not count. Only 1 yes and everything will change. There was a time I went for an interview and I failed that interview because I could not identify one of the parts. And I was so annoyed with myself that I didn't get that job. Several years later, I would not even wake up for the kind of salary they were going to pay me on that job. And that is how life is sometimes. Sometimes that rejection is God's protection. So just don't let it bother you. Go out and seek rejection. Develop the confidence to go out and get rejected. Just go. There is no time to waste. Go out, go and get that rejection, go and get that feedback, and that feedback will give you knowledge, and that knowledge will give you power, and then you go again and you get what you want.
It is all about people. It is all about people. It is people that will recommend you for jobs. It is people that will recommend you for opportunities. Be a person that likes people. Be a person that gets along well with people. Be a nice person. Remember people's names. It's very, very important to try and remember people's name. I write it down if I have to. So when I meet them the next time, if somebody tells me their name is Fred, I'll try and know what Fred do I know and try and attach that name to it and write it down. Remembering people's name is very, very important. I even take it a step further and I try to learn some words in their language. If you live in places like London or New York, you meet people from all over the world. I've been working in construction for a while now and I work with a lot of people from all around Europe. So if I see a Romanian now, I'll say Bună dimineața. If I see a Bulgarian now, I'll say Dobrotro. If I see a Lithuanian now, I'll say Labas Ritas. Someone in Iceland, I'll say Go on dying. If you know words in other people's language, in Welsh, they will say Boreda. All those kind of things make people warm up to you. My Romanian friends even got me one word, Amantula Feme, just like the Yoruba will say Oko Omoge. And people will just laugh when they hear me say that. And they just know that this person is genuinely curious about us. This person really wants to know about us. And then you warm up to them better. When I'm traveling to any country, I try and learn a few words before I go there. When I go to Albania, I learn a few words, Falaminderit, thank you. And the locals just like you more because you take that step to be genuinely curious and friendly with them. Remember people's name, and be genuinely curious about people. Be nice. It is people that will recommend you to opportunities. There was a lady at my work, and we just used to say hi, hi, hi. We do work and go home. But we started talking and we got to know each other, and we go to lunch together. And she was telling me about so many things, and we just became friends. When she left the job, she recommended me for a job that gave me thousands of pounds. All because I took that step to get to know her better. It is people that will elevate you. It is people that will push you for opportunities. Be genuinely nice and be genuinely curious about people. There is this quote from Chinese philosopher Confucius, where he said, "Every man has two lives, but the second one starts when he realizes he only has one." One of the mistakes we make as people is to live life like we have a part two somewhere. We waste time, we don't move with intention. And someone said, if you don't have a plan for yourself, you will fall into somebody else's plan. And what have they got planned for you? Not much. If we are living life like we are going to be here forever, we are making a very, very big mistake. Take advantage. Some of us don't have money, but we have a lot of time on our hands. But our future will definitely be based on what we invest that time on. When Steve Jobs was addressing Stanford University several years ago, he mentioned a quote where he said, live every day like it is going to be your last, and one day you will surely be right. He said he always asked himself, if today is my last day on earth, is this what I will be doing now? And when he finds out the answer is no, no, no several times, he starts searching for that thing that triggers, that brings the genius out of him. Please, let us not waste any time. There is no time to waste. We are not here for a long time. I'm 39 now, and I'm just shocked how fast life has been. It's so humbling. Every man has two lives, but the second one starts when he realizes he only has one.
Take advantage of the internet. Take a massive advantage of the internet. What the internet has done, particularly for us growing up in Africa, is that it has decentralized information. The things that were not accessible to us before are now starting to become accessible. About more than 20 years ago, someone came to me where we grew up in Mushin and told me that, look, you can actually get a scholarship in the US if you are able to go to the internet and look for universities. And because I took that step then, I wrote the SAT, I was able to get scholarship in the US, even though I ended up not going to the US. But I was able to understand what the internet can do for me. In the last few years, I have been in touch with a lot of professionals, a lot of young students that have been able to move abroad or work remotely just because they have been able to take advantage of the internet. I get a lot of questions from young people as well, and I wonder if we are actually taking advantage of this golden resource that we have. Some questions that we ask are questions that if we put on Google, we'll see some results and we can build on those results and get exactly what we want. Take advantage of the internet, whether you are doing small business. Take pictures, tell stories, put your reviews on, share your products on the internet, because it is just the biggest and the biggest thing that can happen to us. It is a huge blessing for our generation, and I want to beg you to please take advantage of it. We get paid for the value we bring to the marketplace. A lot of us as young people want money, but for us to understand money, we have to know what existed before money. And what existed before money was trade by barter, which is exchange of goods for goods. It was when it was not easy to exchange goods for goods. If you had gari and I had beans, and you need beans and I need gari, so we exchange so that we have what we don't have before. So when that was not possible, that was when human beings decided to create money. It wasn't God that created money. Humans beings created money as a unit of account so that we can be able to balance what do you have, what I have. and as a means of exchange. So if you want money, you have to try and become valuable. You have to be valuable to someone. And not all skills are valued the same. That has to be understood as well. Whatever you have chosen to do, you have to understand how much the market is paying for that skill. And there are two markets as well. How much is the market in your country paying for that skill, and how much is the market in another country paying for that skill? A lot of British actors like Idris Elba, David Oyelowo, they left the UK to go to the US to do their acting because they believe the US pays them more. All these things have to be in your mind. You get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace. Not all skills are valued the same, and you must also know what the local and international market is paying for the skills you've acquired. Nothing is free. As I said, even in Freetown, there is no free lunch. For us to get money, we have to provide value, either by selling our skills to someone or by solving a problem with society. Get that in your mind. Please, it is very, very critical. Nobody's going to give us any free money. We have to be valuable. Important topic of discipline. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is everything. You have to be 100% committed to this dream that you are looking to achieve. And there is no way you can get there without discipline. You can wake up every day, you can do affirmations, but if you are not disciplined enough to put in the work, it will be very, very difficult to get there. We can get what we want, but we must not be naive about what it takes to get that thing that we want. Discipline will show the commitment that we have to those dreams, especially when nobody is watching. Behind closed doors, there has been no person that has achieved excellence as anything without being very, very disciplined in terms of chasing their goals, putting commitment in, and doing that work every day. We must not forget discipline. It is very, very critical to what we want to achieve. It shows the commitment that we have to those goals that we said we want to achieve.
This quote that says, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." And I always look at that quote and wonder, for us, it doesn't get any easier. We just have to try our best and keep being stronger. Keep building the back that we are going to use to carry this load, because the load doesn't get any easier. For a lot of us, our parents will rely on us when they get to older age. How does it get easy? We are in the middle, looking after our own children, supporting our own parents as well. We just have to continue to grow. We just have to continue to be better. We just have to continue to be stronger. Don't set out in life thinking it will be easy, because it is not. It is not. It is not like it is from one challenge to another. As you are solving one challenge, another one is coming up. As you are solving one challenge, another one is coming up. But the beauty of it is that you just want to try as much as possible not to let it get to you. As long as you have tried your best, as long as you have done everything you can within your capacity, just let it go. Live life, enjoy life, and do as much as you can. Don't wish it was easier. It's not going to get any easier, I must say. Just keep being stronger. Just keep being better, and every day will be a good day for us. It is not what happens to us that majorly determines where we end up. I thought about that quote deeply, and it ended by saying it is actually more about what we do about it. We have no control over what will happen to us. The only thing we can control is how we react. Life will happen. We will face challenges. People will let us down. But it is not about what happens to us. It is more about how we react to what happens. There was a story about two young men that had an alcoholic father. And one of them turned out very good, and the other one turned out just like the father. And when they asked the one that turned out like the father, he said, "Can't you see my father? I took after him." And the other one was saying, "I looked at my father and I said, no, I will not be like him." That story makes me really, really think. What is happening to us now? Are we going to use it as an excuse, Or are we going to use it as a reason to fight, as a reason to not give up, as a reason to keep going? And it will get to a point in our lives where we cannot blame the society. We cannot blame our parents. We cannot blame our teachers. They say if you point one finger at someone, the rest of the 9 is pointing back at you. We will have to take responsibility at some point. It is not what happens that determines where we'll end up. It is much more about what we do about it. I dropped out of school 3 times. I spent 5 months in mental health. There was a time I felt like giving up. But at some point I felt, let me try. Let me give life another go. And what happened to me has majorly surprised me beyond words. So please, don't let what has happened to you stop you. Keep going. Try your best.
Don't let the initial difficulties you have at the start of anything stop you from making progress. As they say, every master was once a disaster. I have asked a lot of people that I've met that were flying high in their career, and I asked them these simple questions. How did you get this far? How did you get this good? And I was able to understand that the only advantage they had was because they spent a lot of time doing it. They spent a long time on it. It happened to me as well when I joined construction. I told them I had a lot of experience, and then the senior engineer told me to go and get a staff from the van. The staff was so visible that I could not miss it. And when I went back to meet him, I told him that I couldn't find the staff. He was so shocked, and he went back to the van and showed me that is the staff. And that was how terrible I was at the beginning. And in over a decade, I started mentoring people. People started working with me, and I started showing people. I had assistants that went on to become engineers, another job, surveyors, another job. And it just dawned on me that, how about if I quit when I had those struggles at the beginning? When I was struggling to identify this and that, when I was struggling with AutoCAD, or when I was struggling with the total station. If I had quit then, I would not be where I am today. So remember, every master was once a disaster. You need to give it time. You need to keep going. Don't let that initial difficulty stop you from getting it. By the time you spend more time on it, you will figure it out. It is the same with all the good things that you are seeing out there. It takes time. Give it that time and keep working on it. You'll surely get there. Anyone you see in the world doing great things today are not better than you. So get that out of your mind that somebody is better than you. We were all born the same. Dumb, naked, and stupid. So stand tall and walk smart. Look at people in the eye and do what you have got to do. Steve Jobs has a very important quote where he said, everything you see in the world today is the making of someone who are not in any way smarter than you. They may have more opportunities than you, they may have more education than you, but they are not better than you. So don't see yourself as inferior to anybody. You must have that self-confidence. You must grow that self-confidence that is on the borderline of being delusional. Borderline. It's at the borderline of being delusional. Something like Ronaldo will say, something like Kobe Bryant will say, something that Michael Jordan will say. You must have immense confidence in your own abilities, because people are doing great things and they are not smarter than you. But you also want to back that confidence with action. You want to back that confidence with real work. That is very important. Nobody is better than you. They may have more opportunities than you. They may have more resources than you. But if they put you in the same position, you achieve even better. So don't look down on yourself. Big up yourself. Sing your own trumpet. Make noise about yourself, because you can do it. You have greatness within you. Don't forget that.
Continue to invest in yourself. Never stop investing in yourself. There's this quote by Warren Buffett that says, investment in yourself pays the best dividends. Whatever you put in to make sure you are always knowledgeable, no one will take it away from you. Everybody asks that what is the best investment that one can make during the period of high inflation? And what Warren Buffett gave in reply was that bulletproof against inflation is continuing to invest in yourself. Because no matter how high inflation is, there will still be demand for the best carpenters. There will still be demand for the best engineer.
There will still be demand for the best doctors. There will still be demand for the best nurses. There will still be demand for the best artisans, no matter how terrible the economy is. So we must continue to make sure that we are investing in ourselves, because the more we earn, the more we learn, the more we earn. And if you are loaded, you will always be needed. So don't forget to always continue to invest in yourself. One important trait that we must work on in our bid to become leaders in the society is our listening skills. Someone said the reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth is for us to listen more and talk less. When you listen, there is a huge chance you are going to learn something new. When you talk, you are already saying what you know. There is no opportunity to learn something new. But when you listen, there is a good chance you are going to learn something new. Let us work hard on our listening skills. Listening is a very, very important part of leadership. Cultivate and learn how to listen more, observe, and talk less.